Hey guys, welcome back to Brick System Brothers. My name's Nathan Masters. A little bit of context for you guys. I've mentioned this in some of the HUTAP videos, and I'll be mentioning it again when I look at scoring the picker brick walls. Hopefully I'm going to do some of those soon. But this is New Elementary, and the context for today is when I refer to a piece as a fan favorite. I'm going to be kind of redirecting you guys to this video if you haven't heard of what I'm talking about. Fan favorite refers to a selection of a few pieces that were chosen by a survey in 2017, and it applies specifically to the pieces that LEGO makes available in the Pick-a-Brick wall. It's actually known as Pick and Build officially, but Pick-a-Brick spells the same, P-A-B, and some people say PAB, I don't know. Whatever you want to say it. These walls are in pretty much every LEGO store, and there's usually a selection of like 20 to 80, maybe really large stores up to 100 different types of pieces. And it's a great resource because you can go in there and get these bulk pieces of elements that are otherwise maybe harder to find in LEGO form. So with that in mind, the fan favorite thing was kind of a trial run in 2017, 2016, and I think it was implemented because, as we'll see here, some of the selection has become something that we've seen on the wall kind of regularly. But they interviewed, I'll link to the article. You guys can read it in its entirety, but basically they interviewed some of the people that are active in the LEGO community, whether they're part of a registered LEGO user group, also known as a LUG. And this has kind of been the way that the LEGO company has interacted with its fans for the past 20, 25 years, pretty much. And even before that, it was more of an unofficial thing, but through the last couple decades, there has been an official partnership. So this was done through that, and it shows up in the Pick-a-Brick walls today, so kind of the ramifications going on. I'm not sure if it's been updated at all, but this is the last word we have as reported by New Elementary in January 2017. So what is a fan favorite? A fan favorite is a combination of an element and a color, and the element and color combo is kind of drawn from the top 10 out of each pick. And so out of this whole group of LEGO colors, these are the fan favorite picks from this survey. So the number one fan favorite LEGO color from this specific survey is dark red. And you go down the list here: dark red, dark green, sand green, dark blue, and then at the bottom some of our other ones like dark orange, dark brown, sand blue. I think most of us would agree that getting LEGO pieces in those colors could be really useful and is something that we would like to see. I mean, LEGO pieces in any of their colors are good, and depending on what piece it is, it might even be a really rare piece that's worth a lot of money. I don't know if you've seen that video, kind of a famous YouTube video compilation of the most expensive pieces. And this one that you wouldn't really assume is a 2x2 kind of corner sand green brick. Since it was only used in one or two sets, at the time the video was made, it was worth $80. Now the thing about those is if you're going to like stockpile pieces to have something to sell and make a huge profit, but you never know if that's going to be put into production in another set and then that price would just drop. So it's kind of, LEGO investing does have its risks, but that's a topic for another day. These top 10 colors were the ones chosen, and the top 10 elements chosen were the profile brick, 98283. Just did a HUTAP on this, HUTAP number 15. Hold up, what's that awesome piece? We looked at this piece in particular. And the brick 1x2, some of these kind of surprising, like didn't we have this on the wall already? But then some of these other ones like the leaf elements, kind of would have to agree that having those in bulk can be really nice for those bigger builds. And then some plates and tiles. You know, the cheese slope, the 1x1 plate, those are really fun because you can pack so many into a cup. It's sold by volume. And so if you pick a lot of smaller pieces, you can fit way more of those into the same volume than you can one of these giant leaf elements. So if you're going to go buy a large cup for, I think they're going for like $16 or $17 now here in the US, I think you can get like between 300 and 400 1x2 bricks in a large cup. but then these large leaf elements, you'd get less than those. If you're going for 1x1 cheese slopes or 1x1 plates, you could potentially get like close to 1,000 of those in a cup. And so your actual price per piece can fluctuate based on the size of the piece that you're picking. And so a fan favorite then, in reference to this specific survey, is any combination of these 10 elements and these 10 colors. So a sand green 1x1 plate, that would be a fan favorite because it is one of these elements and the number 3 pick for the color. And like I said, I think this is kind of something that LEGO has done as an ongoing, maybe more of an internal thing instead of a survey. But the profile brick specifically, I think we have seen an effort for LEGO to include that in their stores. And even when it does still show up in the Picker Brick wall, it's getting bought out pretty quickly. I think the Facebook group that I'm in, that I use for my scoring videos, will post when there's a new shipment in of this piece, and usually within a couple days there's someone commenting, yeah, they're already gone from the store. So I think that's good evidence that like people still want to see this piece in the LEGO store. This specific plant piece, the limb element small, I know I've seen that across the range in regular green, olive green, so I think that one's still around. The tiles, I know we've got the tile in dark tan, and this is something that you kind of keep an eye on when you see people putting pictures up of their mocks and their projects. Sometimes they'll have a really high amount of one certain element, one or two certain elements. And I think back to some of the pearl gold elements that we had in the last couple of years when I was actually at LEGO stores picking elements. And I remember these kind of being there in the pool to pick from. And that kind of ends up being something that people can buy and use a lot of in their mocks and projects. And so it kind of works its way into a kind of a cross section of the community. We'll end up seeing these large scale houses, dioramas and that kind of thing. You'll be able to point out like, oh yeah, that dark tan 2x2 plate, dark tan 2x2 tile was in the Picker Brick wall, so they were able to buy like 2,000 of those just by getting a couple cups at $17 a piece. You can get them a lot cheaper that way than you can on Bricklink, because most of the bulk pieces on Bricklink that people have are going to be parted out from new sets, and in that case you can actually charge more because of supply and demand. So just having LEGO Picker Brick walls does help a lot in terms of buying bulk pieces. Where that does fall a little bit short is the actual selection to choose from. So I think that's where the fan favorite pilot program came in 2017, and like I mentioned, I have a hunch it's still going on, maybe kind of in a less formal way, but you can read about like how many people actually responded to these surveys. There's some percentages here that they were able to get a hold of, and other articles related to LEGO colors and parts. But that's kind of what I wanted to mention when I'm talking about LEGO fan favorites and the context of the Picker Brick wall. That's where these are coming from. So it isn't exactly an arbitrary choice. It was specifically pulled from the preference of LEGO fans, kind of questioning their choices sometimes about what elements. Like if someone asked you, yeah, what 10 elements do you want to see on the LEGO wall? You probably wouldn't go part for part this list right here. But then again, like no one's going to have the same list. Very few people will have the same list of parts, and so you kind of have to meet in the middle with the community on that. So yeah, there's a little background for you from New Elementary. I think I'll do one of my 7-minute condensed summaries on this website at some point, because this resource is really cool. They're doing reviews, and for the most part they talk about the system and how the system works together. And as you guys know, with HuTap and my other videos, I'm a big fan of the LEGO system. So we will keep that for another day, but just know that the fan favorite kind of has some background and it's worth checking out. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time on Brick System Brothers.